It's really me, not AI. So yesterday I did a film that was totally 100% generated by ChatGPT. I said, write me a script about 3i Atlas and suggest visuals and music. That's what I did, and it was rubbish. It was blah blah meaningless crap. As a lot of you pointed out, and absolutely true. The thing with ChatGPT is that it just aims to please and get you hooked into the site. It doesn't actually deliver interesting things. It just talks garbage, really. Apart from the fact that the facts that it put in the script for me to read was based on a large language model of scientific papers, but totally ignoring people like Jordan from Angry Astronaut, who's talking about light emitting from the object, and other people talking about whether it will collide with anything, and the whole mystery about its tail, if it is a comet, coming out the wrong way. None of that was assessed by ChatGPT in the script that it wrote for me. So today, very much accepting that yesterday's film was a pile of poo. And it's interesting how bad AI can actually be. It's just generally bland, and it doesn't actually push boundaries in any way. I'm going to today address two things about 3i Atlas, which I'm actually finding very intriguing. One is, will it hit anything? And I think this has been ignored because its path actually goes between Jupiter and Mars. There's something between Jupiter and Mars, and that's called the asteroid belt. And that's where a protoplanet didn't coalesce into a rocky planet, but just formed as all these millions and millions and millions of asteroids, which orbit in that section of the asteroid belt. The reason that we have meteors and asteroids that are visible on Earth is occasionally two of those asteroids in that belt bonk like billiards, and one of them comes flying out towards us, hopefully not a big one. And it doesn't take very long for it to actually reach Earth, and that's why organizations like Atlas are really great, with a wide field nightly survey looking for incoming death plunge asteroids, as they call them, and hopefully they don't occur. But yeah, it is possible at the speeds that 3i Atlas is traveling, and it is going between Jupiter and Mars, that it might collide with something. If it does, billiards, blah, who knows? We really don't want it to hit anything. It's definitely not going to hit Earth, by the way. Earth, at the time it's closest to Earth, will be on the other side of the sun, so we're protected by our star, thank you. And but I worry that it shouldn't hit anything, really. Now, let's move on to, is 3i Atlas actually emitting light? It's definitely luminous. A lot of the light, of course, is reflected light from our sun, and it seems to be surrounded by an aura of dust, probably. The exact nature of the dust particles around it is being analysed right now. James Webb Space Telescope has now done spectral analysis of the glow around it, or the stuff around the object, and it seems weird. It seems to contain stuff which is not similar to material that we have in our solar system. It seems very iron-free, and it seems to have a lot of particles or atoms which are slightly strange. But I think its light emitting could also come from the object itself apparently having an internal glow. And years ago, I worked with Brian Cox on a series called Forces of Nature, where he and I sat down one day and we talked about how light is made, which is such a good basic question. And the majority of photons, which are what we see with our eyes, which we call light, are produced by energetic electrons throwing away excess energy once they've become super hot, super fast, super radioactive, or super energized by an external force, such as putting energy into a plasma. The actual plasma becomes ionized, and then when it throws away the energy to desperately try and return to a stable state, it throws away electrons. No, it doesn't. It throws away photons, and those photons are what we see. So it is possible that 3I Atlas is so supercharged by its speed and by its proximity to our star, the sun, that it's actually in an active state. So partially, as it's being eroded, as it's zipping through our solar system incredibly fast, and that's why we know it's an interstellar object, that electrons, as part of its whatever it's made of, are actually emitting photons. And so, yes, it might actually have a light emitting effect. It doesn't mean that it's glowing radioactive. It doesn't mean that it's an alien spaceship with lights on. It just means that it's part of physics that when atoms are supercharged, they need to change when atoms are supercharged, they want to return to a normal orbit, a normal state. And just like an airplane descending towards an airport, they throttle back and you reduce the amount of energy. And electrons in a high orbit need to throttle back to go back to a low orbit. And they do that by emitting energy in the form of photons. And that's why, that's really why our sun glows and why things glow when they get hot. That black body radiation, you put energy into a bar of iron in a blacksmith's forge and it glows red and then eventually white hot. And that's because the electrons are trying to desperately shed that energy, and that is our photons that we see. So it is glowing probably, but it could be just a normal part of physics. We live in interesting times. I'm very interested to see closer observations. 3I Atlas is about to get very close to possibly hitting an asteroid. And then as we zip around the sun, it will zip around our star and it will fly off. And then it will give us an opportunity to look at it again. I don't think we're going to have any satellite close encounters. It's a shame that we didn't redeploy the probe around Saturn or Jupiter, was it, to actually go and look at it. That didn't happen. It was a bit short notice. But we now have excellent telescopes that can see it, and James Webb has also looked at it. James Webb, of course, isn't an optical telescope. It's looking in the infrared, which can do spectral analysis. That's why we know what the aura around 3I Atlas is made of. So there you go. That's real information, I hope. I make mistakes, I get things wrong, but I do research. I'm not ChatGPT. I don't just spout bollocks all the time, and that is based on much more speculative ideas, which I think are really, really interesting. I think ChatGPT writing scripts for YouTube is rubbish. I think it's kind of useful as a tool for doing video descriptions. I think its visualization is also really poor at present. I don't recommend it at all, but it was a good exercise for me yesterday to follow exactly what a ChatGPT video script model, including suggestions for pictures and music. The pictures all came from Artlist, who are AI generated now. And when you choose an illustrative picture, say, I had pictures of the cosmos, underneath is suggested music that goes along with that picture. So as a filmmaker, you are being guided by AI, but I think we need human skills to make the stories more interesting for you, wonderful viewers, because the truth is out there.